blinded. Lighting can take your performance from a good show to a great show. So in this video, we're going to talk about lighting. Now, most musicians don't want to care about lighting, but from a live element, this is something you really need to get behind. Even as a solo performer like myself, right through to a full band, lighting can elevate your performance and just give it that extra edge, whether you're in a local pub, a private venue, or on a big stage. Hi, my name is JP. Welcome to Jump On Music UK. On this channel, we talk about live music, live performance, live looping, live streaming, all for the modern musician. Then have a look through a couple of the videos, and I hope you enjoy this one as well. Now, I'm a solo musician and also a content creator, so I actually have two different places I do lighting. One is right now. I've got a light right here shining on my face so you can see me, and I've got some lights around the studio, LED lights, LED panels, and that's it. Then I've got lighting for when I'm performing live, and this is where these two boxes that are just behind me come in, because we're actually going to showcase two different products today. Those two boxes are one product, and the other product takes it to the next level. Now, let's be real for a second. Musicians don't actually care about lighting. We just want to get up and perform, but then if you're in a band, if you're doing this on your own, then you don't want to carry around extra lights, but you kind of have to, and no one wants to sit there and program lights. We haven't got time. I can't be bothered. That's for lighting technicians, that's for lighting rig people. It is a different world. However, it does bleed into our world as musicians and performers, because if you stand in the corner of a pub or you're standing on stage and there's some lights there, it just looks better. If you notice, if you're in a shopping center compared to in a club, the club is dark and it actually expands your pupils and you feel like you have an elevated experience. That's why we go to concerts in the dark. I bet you didn't know that. So therefore, when you're actually performing and there's lights on like this, and opposed to actually turning these main lights off and just having strobe lights or just having these lights that move around, it's a little bit like going to see a fireworks display. It's exciting, it's multicolored, and the lights are moving around. Now, the first product, as I said, is in these boxes behind me. I'm going to move over to the table in a minute. And these are the BeTopper LM120 moving heads. I've got two of them, and they very kindly sent them to the channel so we could showcase them for you. Now, the great thing is they use what's called DMX. DMX is to lighting what MIDI is to musicians. It's a controller, and it sends commands and controls out from either a DMX controller, which looks a little bit like a mixing desk, but a lighting mixing desk, out to different controls. The second product is a DMX controller that you don't have to control, and it's being pipped as the future of music and lighting. So on to the first product, and the first product is these two. This is the BeTopper Demon's Eye. 120 watt, 4-in-1 moving headlight. That's what it actually is. Or the LM120, it's also known as, but it's known as the Demon's Eye on their website. I'll put links in the description box if you want to go and get some. And then we get these out of the box so you can see what they look like. So in one of these boxes is this. This is the Demon Eye itself. This is the LM120, and it's called the Demon Eye because this light has got a really weird pattern on it, and it can produce multiple patterns within the same light. It's a 120 watt cob light, which is RGBW, which means it's got loads of different colors. It can do loads of different patterns, and it moves around. And then what you've also got here underneath, you can see that you've got a bracket holder there, and you've got a bracket here, so you can put this onto a pole like a stand. Then very simply, you've got a power connection, and then you've got an XLR cable, and that is for the DMX control. So we've got two of these. I'm going to get the second one out of the box, and let's plug them in and see if we can blind JP. Now, as I said before, you get the connectors if you want to put these on poles. You want to put them on like a speaker stand. You could do that technically, but for this, we're gonna put these back in the box. We don't need them. So just to bring this a little bit closer to you, what you've got on the front here, we've got a menu. We have an enter. There's a little display here with 4 numbers or 4 letters, and that lights up, telling you what I'm doing, and you've got an up and a down. So you can go from things like sound to display. You can just turn these on and they'll do their own thing. There's a little microphone inside as well, so if you put it on a sound option, it picks up the sound and then moves whenever there's a thud or there's a sound beyond a certain level. Then we've also got the DMX side of things. So we do have a power in and a power out, so you can daisy chain the power if you want to. You've also got a fuse box right here, and then you've got DMX in, DMX out. That look very familiar because it's XLR. They're lightweight and they're actually not bad to carry around. I can actually carry them in those boxes because they've got the polystyrene screen in that just keeps them nice. And the other great thing is you get an XLR cable with it. So if you need it a bit longer, you want to put them further away, you just connect one to the other and you can just extend that as a nice big long XLR cable. So before plugging them into power, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the DMX out of this one, go into the DMX in of this one via the XLR cable. Now they're only real close to each other, so we don't need this to be extra long, so we don't need the other XLR. We'll plug the DMX in and then we just plug the power on. It's as simple as that. Now as soon as I plug the power on, this happens. And what they'll start doing is they'll start figuring out where they are in 3D space, as it were, and they'll reset themselves. Now the only slight problem is this poor one here, got a bit of a knock, and it works absolutely fine, but then you heard it just went da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and that's because it got a bit of a knock. Sorry, BeTopper, I knocked it. So right now, I'm gonna blind myself. And the reason is because, whoa. The reason is because it's set to sound, and what it's doing right now, is it's moving when I talk. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ba! Ba! There we go. Right. So, yeah, I'm going to sit here because they're blinding me right now. 1! There we go. Now, I've got these lights on. I haven't even got my main light on anymore in the studio because these things are so flipping bright. But what I normally do is that I would normally put them into a sound thing, and then when I start playing the sound, it'll pick it up, and then they just start moving. They start spinning around. When I stop playing, they stop. And you can turn it on to a certain amount, so it's either really sensitive or not that sensitive. So then as you hit a certain threshold or a certain level, you can do that. One thing you'll notice as well, because they are live lights, then they do generate a lot of heat, and they have a fan built into them as well. You might have just hear the fan starting to go up now. 1, 2, and to be honest, it's a lot of fun just to do that. So the next part of this, and that's fine, these are awesome, and I'm going to leave links in the description box if you want to go and grab them. They've got some really cool things you can do. You can set them as well to not be on sound. You can set them to be on their own program, and they just move around. There you go, just picked up some noise there. But the next part of this is actually having DMX control to your music. So you can set it to sound, that's one thing, but how about setting it to sound where when you play something quieter, you get different colors, or you play something louder and you get like flashing lights. So that's called DMX control, and DMX control is then programming up a DMX controller of some kind, a program system. And I don't want to do that. But imagine having your own lighting technician, but you don't have to carry around one of those big lighting mixers. You don't have to take a computer with you. That's where this comes in. This is the Maestro DMX, and it's basically a computer, but you plug the audio in just here, and then you plug the DMX out to those things. And then you tell this what your setup is. So you actually set it up on the computer at home once with your lights and say what your lights are, and it's got loads of different manufacturers including BeTopper, and then you tell them which lights they are. It listens to the audio and makes adjustments accordingly.